गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुर्साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। निधये सर्वविद्यानां भिषजे भवरोगिणां गुरुवे सर्वलोकानां श्री दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्। Namaste and welcome to this beautiful Satsang at Kaivalya Yoga Gurukulam. Maya and I are grateful that you have opened your doors to your home, invited us into your homes. And we also have the greatest privilege in inviting all of you and having all of you at this divine altar at Kaivalya Yoga Gurukulam. A few very close friends of ours, a couple, husband and wife, they brought this beautiful flowers and offered it at the altar today. Of course, they left it at the driveway because we don't meet. But this is the beauty of that. This is what the divine is attracting. So we are very grateful to them for coming all the way and making this offering. Let us begin the satsang with a Ganesha bhajan, invoking this divine and powerful energy of Ganesha through the mantra Om Ganganapate Namaha. So he clears the passageway, removes all the obstacles, protects the mind from all directions so it stays focused and learns from the divine.
Namaha
पशुपति तनया बाल गजानन, पशुपति तनया बाल गजानन, तुम हो विघ्न विनाशा गणेशा, तुम हो विघ्न विनाशा, तुम हो विघ्न विनाशा गणेशा, तुम हो विघ्न विनाशा। ओम गणपतये नमः, 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 ओम गणपतये नमः। पशुपति तनया बाल गजानन, पशुपति तनया बाल गजानन, तुम हो विघ्न विनाशा गणेशा, तुम हो विघ्न विनाशा। हे शिवनंदन बाल गजानन, हे शिवनंदन बाल गजानन, विद्या बुद्धि प्रदाता, विद्या बुद्धि प्रदाता, मंगल कर हे, मंगल कर हे, मंगल कर हे, मंगल कर हे, सुंदर पाहि गणेशा गणेशा, सुंदर पाहि गणेशा। ओम गणपतये नमः, 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 ओम गणपतये नमः। पशुपति तनया बाल गजानन, पशुपति तनया बाल गजानन, तुम हो विघ्न विनाशा गणेशा, तुम हो विघ्न विनाशा। हे शिवनंदन बाल गजानन, हे शिवनंदन बाल गजानन, विद्या बुद्धि प्रदाता, विद्या बुद्धि प्रदाता, मंगल कर हे, मंगल कर हे, मंगल कर हे, मंगल कर हे, सुंदर पाहि गणेशा गणेशा, सुंदर पाहि गणेशा। ओम गणपतये नमः, Ganganapataye Namaha. Om 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 Ganganapataye Namaha. Om. Namaste. For those of you who have just joined, welcome to Kaivalya Yoga Gurukulam. For this satsang, we are having a series, learning, understanding, exploring, listening, contemplating, and slowly beginning to assimilate the meaning, profound meanings, perspectives of the Shri Dakshinamoorthy Stotram. We are on the dhyana slokas, or the meditative verses. We finished the first two. We'll be beginning the third one today. Before that, let us mindfully prepare ourselves to receiving this divine energy, to be able to contemplate. So allow me to offer this beautiful verse, Brahmanandam, Paramasukadam, Kevalam Jnanamurtim. What is this kind of guru that we are meditating upon? And so meditating on his qualities, allow the mind to taste each and every one of these qualities as you listen to them. The meaning is also on the screen. Brahmanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gaganasadrisham Tattvam Asyadilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalam Achalam Sarvadi Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami Sadgurum Tam Namami Sadgurum Tam Namami. What a beautiful verse. And so having invoked such a divine guru, having meditated upon the qualities of such a divine guru, the one who is actually beyond qualities, but the only way we can even reach this is through these beautiful adjectives, each one of them breaking our mind free, opening the doors to thoughts that would normally not be entertained by the mind. Ekam, oneness, Nityam, eternal, Vimalam, pure, Achalam, unmoving, Sarvadi Sakshi Bhutam, witness to everything, Bhava Atitam, beyond all qualities, Triguna Rahitam, beyond all the gunas. So you see how each one, as you think, the mind begins to open up. Sadgurum, that divine guru, I first prostrate. And then we begin the dhyana sloka. So even if you don't know or don't have time to chant the whole Dakshinamurthy Stotram, as in when you learn them and you want to incorporate it, maybe you do that once every few days or once every Thursday perhaps. But this sloka, Brahmanandam, Paramasukadam, these 15 odd words, is something you can memorize. Form your own tune, if you will. We'll try and record it, as in when you get a chance, do a good recording, a decent recording rather, and share it with you all when it is done. But that's a very short one you could do every day. Take a few moments just to meditate on this Guru and know that this divine Guru that we are calling upon is here, right here, inside us, waiting to be awakened. That is the power of this. This is the sum and substance of this approach. This whole approach and this whole prayer and the whole path of bhakti and devotion is to take us closer and closer to the divine. And where is the divine? Inside, right here, within us. So close that it actually is our own reflection, or we become reflections of this divine. And this divine is the one that is reflecting all around us, including ourselves. So that is the purpose of all of the sadhana, the satsangs, these get-togethers, sanctifying the virtual space with this kind of thoughts. And these divine vibrations then bless our homes and our families and our friends and community, and the world gets automatically blessed, automatically. Just like the street lamp automatically gives light, that all you and I need to do is take time every day to meditate on these divine principles and let it be. That's all we need to do. We don't have to change the world. We don't have to look for results, whether the world has changed, whether we did it for 100 days, something has happened. The point is just be in this joy. And let that joy, your experience, automatically begin to reflect. And let that happen as and when the divine prevails. So let us contemplate and sing the verses that we have learned so far and move on to the next one. मौनव्याख्या प्रकटित परब्रह्म तत्त्वं युवानम्. I'll sing this twice, each line, just so you can read and become more and more familiar. मौनव्याख्या प्रकटित परब्रह्म तत्त्वं युवानम्. वर्षिष्ठान्ते वसद ऋषिगणैर् आवृतं ब्रह्मनिष्ठैः. वर्षिष्ठान्ते वसद ऋषिगणैर् आवृतं ब्रह्मनिष्ठैः. आचार्येन्द्रं करकलितचिन्मुद्रमानन्दमूर्तिम्. आचार्येन्द्रं करकलितचिन्मुद्रमानन्दमूर्तिम्. स्वात्मा रामं मुदितवदनं श्री दक्षिणामूर्तिमीडे. स्वात्मा रामं मुदितवदनं श्री दक्षिणामूर्तिमीडे. वटविटपि समीपे वटविटपि समीपे भूमिभागे निषण्णम्. वटविटपि समीपे भूमिभागे निषण्णम्. सकलमुनिजनानां ज्ञानदातारमारात्. सकलमुनिजनानां ज्ञानदातारमारात्. त्रिभुवनगुरुमीशं दक्षिणामूर्तिदेवम्. त्रिभुवनगुरुमीशं दक्षिणामूर्तिदेवं जननमरणदुःखच्छेद दक्षं नमामि। जननमरणदुःखच्छेद दक्षं नमामि। चित्रं वटतरोर्मूले वृद्धा शिष्या गुरुर्युवा। चित्रं वटतरोर्मूले वृद्धा शिष्या गुरुर्युवा। गुरोस्तु मौनव्याख्यानं शिष्यास्तु छिन्नसंशयाः। गुरोस्तु मौनव्याख्यानं शिष्यास्तु छिन्नसंशयाः। So let us study this beautiful, fascinating verse, the third one, which we just sang, which you listened. And it goes like this. Chitram vatataror... No, just stick to that. Sorry. Chitram vatataror mule. Chitram vatataror mule. So there is one word, vata. We know now vata is what? Vata is banyan. Because vata vitapi samipe, we heard that in the previous verse. Vata vita. Vata means banyan. So here that banyan word vata is something else is there. Vatataror. Vatataror mule. Of the banyan, the root of the banyan tree. Vatataror mule. It goes together. The root of the banyan. Mule, at the root. Chitram. Chitram is a short way of saying vichitram. Vichitram is a way of saying, wow, it's surprising, it's strange. It's a strange phenomenon here. What's going on here? Right? Something unusual is going on here. So I use the word unusual rather than strange. Unusual, it's not a usual thing that you come across. And what is that? We will see in a bit. But right here, the beauty is he's setting the mood, the basis for meditation. And always, as I say this disclaimer is this is how I see it as a yogi. When I hear the word mula, it straight away takes me to the Mooladhara. And so, what is the unusual picture? We'll come to it. But then he's explaining what is happening, right? He's building the case there. The unusual situation here is happening at the root of the banyan tree. So immediately the mind goes to the root. Mula. Vatataror mule. If this is the banyan tree, if the sahasrara that blossoms is a branch, right? And that blossoming doesn't go higher, that blossoming spreads. In other words, the awareness of you, the consciousness of the I begins to spread out. The I that is limited now begins to open up this way, beginning to include everyone and everything. It expands. I becomes we becomes he. As Baba would say, the journey of life is from I to we and we to he. So everything becomes one. Okay? So the understanding is the blossoming. The tree is here. And at the root of the tree is this divine guru. That's why I began this satsang saying, where is this search? Where are we searching? Whom are we calling? We might think and imagine he's up there somewhere, because that is how we have trained ourselves to believe. Something is always out there. Why is that? Why does that even happen? Why is that we are looking for outside for help? Where did that even begin in our conscious, unconscious, subconscious mind? Where? Think of it when you were a child. You were lying helpless in the cradle, correct? Where did nourishment come from for you? From outside. So you looked towards the mother to provide you nourishment. And then you started crawling. You wanted to stand. You wanted to walk like your dad and your mom. And so what did we do at that time? We looked around for support and clung to something outside. And that helped us. And holding the sofa or the chair, we began to stand up. And then we looked to our mother's hand for support. We looked to our Father's word for comfort. And thus we kept looking out and out and out. And all our nourishment, physically, mentally, has come from outside. So it is very natural. We have to understand this. So don't beat yourself and don't blame yourself and say, why am I always focused on the outside? Why cannot I go in? First understand the why this problem happened, right? Diagnosis, if you will, is half the cure. This is because right from our birth, we have looked outside for support, outside for knowledge, outside. And our senses also gather information for the mind from where? Outside, because that is the nature of the senses. And ever since we began to understand 2 plus 2 is 4, and black is black and white is white, from that moment on, we begin to receive information through the senses. We begin to categorize those informations and put them in the mind, and then use that categorized information, the database stored in our mind, as the source upon which we would weigh the pros and cons of further information that came in, right? And thus we kept growing. So we kept building our database with new experiences. The other experiences we would compare and learn. If it is too new, we'll store it in our database for further learning, and so on and so forth. But all that information that was stored or is stored, most of it has come from outside. And so it is natural when we think of the Guru and look to pray now for spiritual knowledge, for wisdom, where would the mind go? Is naturally you will say, where are you, God? And look up into the sky. If God is beyond your parents, God is beyond all of this, then he must be up there somewhere, right? Because we have trained our mind. And so it is not easy, but we have to make a beginning. So go back to that childhood. In spirituality, we have to go back, and we are perhaps the 2-year-old in spirituality, where now we are given the chance to learn it the right way. So we are given the chance to go within. The spirit goes within. To go within and see, oh my gosh, this I have carried with me from my birth. And therefore this energy, this power, this wisdom, this being within me, the I, the real I, is the Guru I am seeking, will open my doors of consciousness. So the ability to go within is what all this effort is. Because once you go inside and you're able to see it in the reflection of your spirit, then you'll see yourself, the real self, right? So it is not easy to go inside simply because we have trained. So what happens in sadhana? Because the rest of the day now, if you notice, that is why yesterday I said janana marana dukkha cheda. It's sorrowful, it's pathetic, because throughout the day, zombie-like, and I'm not trying to build a very sadistic image of our lives, but I'm asking the warrior in you to come out and question, yes, what am I doing with my life, right? So in that zombie-like lifestyle, routine-like lifestyle, where we are living on borrowed ideas, borrowed likes, borrowed dislikes, and just mindlessly perhaps going through day after day, if you notice, we are constantly looking outside for information, outside for comfort. Everything is looked outside. Even I want peace of mind, I look to music from outside to listen to get some comfort, right? I don't train myself to go inside. And therefore, when we are asked to now sit in meditation and go within, it's a very, very new experience. And it stays new and fresh because we don't spend more time in these kind of sadhanas. So satsangs like these, where we begin to understand, awaken, discuss, talk, listen, opens that door, gives us hope and confidence. Say, okay, I'm not the only crazy person. There are quite a few crazy people who can do this. So I'm good, right? That gives us a confidence to go within. So, chitram vatataror mule. For me, that takes my mind deep inside, into my mooladhara. Okay, so that's one way of interpreting it. I'm putting it out there for you all to consider it. Chitram vatataror mule. At the root of the banyan tree. Mooladhara, moola is the root, the foundation. Vatataror mule, of the banyan tree. Okay, let's see what happens. Chitram vatataror mule Vriddha Shishyaha Gurur Yuva. Vriddha Shishyaha Gurur Yuva. Vriddha, old people. Shishyaha, students. The old people, what is unusual here? Old people are students and the Guru is youthful. Guru Yuva, Vriddha, Shishya. All the Shishyas are Vriddha. They are all old. And the Guru is Yuva. The one who is teaching is young, radiant, youthful. And all these students who are supposed to be even younger, right? As children, we understand that, right? As who goes to school? Children go to school, generally, correct? There are always exceptions here. So here the beauty is all old people are sitting and the Guru is young and youthful. These are the strange statements given to us so that we begin to think, what does this mean to us? So if you notice in the previous, just a few moments ago, I said we have to go back to that being that 2-year-old. In spirituality, we have to go back to being youthful because we are grown old with borrowed ideas. So we are sitting at the feet of the Guru, old and tired, not able to contemplate, not able to understand. And he is eternally youthful. And therefore we need to go back to that state of emptiness. Because when we contemplate on this divine Guru as youthful, we begin to go back to our youth. We begin to go back to our childhood, where we had not made up our minds about anything. We were young, fresh, like sponges, we were absorbing information. That is where we want to go back to. And begin learning spirituality, right? But here, look at this strange phenomenon. All the students are old, and the teacher is young. When this statement hit me, when was that? When Baba called in a group of 27 vice chancellors, almost all of them older than him. This was 1980, 81, I think. Around that time, 81 or 82. And they had come to inspect the campus. The college was just about a year old. There was another college in Vrindavan about 9 years old. Another college in Anantapur about 10 years old. Just 3 colleges. And this was just about a year old. The buildings are not even complete. And the vice chancellors were invited by Baba to come and see what experiment he's doing with youngsters, providing them a spiritual atmosphere, an environment where, along with secular education, they also have a chance to explore, understand, learn higher education. Paravidya and Aparavidya. So they came and they went around seeing everything. None of the campuses perhaps was as ready as they should be on paper, in the sense of laboratory equipments and all of that is needed to be for a college or a set of colleges to become university, right? To be deemed as a university. But nevertheless, Baba called them. So this statement, how is all that pertaining to this statement? So that evening, as we were sitting in the bhajan hall and we were watching him, he came out and he looked at all of them. He, looking at the senior educationists, people who have dedicated their entire lives to education, vice chancellors of 27 or 28 vice chancellors of prominent universities all across India. So they formed that board, the University Grants Commission as they call it. Here is an 8th grader who dropped out of school with a vision to start a university. My dear young children, if you all are listening to this, don't drop out of school, but know that nothing is impossible in your lives. These teachers, these Babas, the Avatara Purushas, the masters who walk the earth, they set an example telling you that no matter your education, whether you have or you don't have, whether you have money or you don't have money, none of that really comes as obstacles in your lives. You can do whatever you want. So I just want to put out there. that's an important a side lesson, if you will. I didn't want to miss that. But what was most astonishing for me as I was studying the Guru Mantra those days was that he looked so young, and all of them were literally much older than him. They were much aged, 65, 70 plus, all of them. And so he invites all of them into his room. I know how his room looked like. Many of us have been there as students, as devotees, in the interview room. So they are all sitting down, and this young teacher is sitting on a chair. And this scene then made sense to me. It clicked. I said, oh my gosh, this is Chitram Vatataror. This is a very unusual picture. Here is an uneducated, quote unquote, dropped out of school, young looking guru, calling all these old people and then talking to them, giving them a vision of this university. This is what divinity is all about. Age really doesn't matter. So I wanted to share that moment that is priceless for me, that taught me the meaning of this sloka, so I can understand how the students of Adi Shankara, who wrote this, Padmapada, who wrote this, one of his chief disciples who wrote this, must have seen Adi Shankara eternally youthful. He lived only up to 32 years old. So even physically he was a very young guru. But he would go, he went from Kanyakumari to the north, to Kedarnath, all the way up to establish the lingams and to sanctify all those lingams and all the portals. So he has traveled the length and breadth of the country, literally. He would have met so many scholars, so many quote-unquote old people. And therefore, this shishya of his, this disciple of his, brings that picture here. That guru who is completely established in oneness is always youthful. And so, of course, in this case, they are meditating on this Dakshinamurthy, the supreme guru. It's not Adi Shankara or anyone. They're all, of course, parts of that. That's why Shri Guru, Parama Guru, Parameshti Guru is the guru of all gurus, right? So every guru is a manifestation of that supreme being. If your mother is your guru, she is a manifestation of that. But the father is not. If they are, everyone is a guru for us. And therefore, everyone, those who teach us not to do things, those who teach us to do things, they're all our gurus. Everyone, therefore, is a manifestation of the Supreme Guru. So, Vriddha Shishyaha Gurur Yuva. So, under the banyan tree, this disciple is meditating. Under that banyan tree, there is a young teacher. So, one part of the strangeness is the teacher is young, the students are old. What a strange thing that is, right? So, that is one part. Chitram vatataror mule vriddha shishya gurur yuva. Chitram vatataror mule vriddha shishya gurur yuva. And then what happens? The next one, the next strange thing that's also happening now. Gurustu mauna vyakhyanam. Another strange thing is, this youthful teacher sitting under the tree doesn't talk. This teacher doesn't talk. So how is he expounding this ancient wisdom? What is the nature of his exposition? What is the kind of teaching? So then does he use slides? Is he using pictures? Is he drawing on the sand? Nothing. Silence. This maunam is complete silence, not just silence by, how we try to keep maunam and then our hands speak more and we write text and show it to people and we text and on WhatsApp and we say we are keeping maunam. That is one kind of maunam, a very small portion of the maunam, but the mind is shattering, so it really doesn't have much effect. This maunam is complete maunam. He is completely absorbed in himself. As the previous verse we sang, Swatma Raman, Swatma, Swa-Atma. He is deriving pleasure from his own self. That's it. He's lost. That is the maunam. Okay, so there is no sign language, no indications of any kind that the senses can grasp. This is what it means. The senses cannot get this wisdom from this guru. And that is why when you understand he's beyond the senses, understand it from here. Because the senses can't understand silence. The ear needs to hear something. The eyes needs to see something, some sign language, something to interpret, right? The nose needs something, the tongue needs something. Somewhere we need some kind of information. A touch conveys a lot of meaning, but he's not touching you also. He's not doing anything. So this maunam, the mind cannot understand. So let's understand that. This kind of exposition is learned, therefore how? By sitting at the feet of the Guru. That's it. So Gurustu Mauna Vyakhyanam. This is a very important, please take time to meditate on these statements. In other words, contemplate deeply. Mauna Vyakhyanam. And many times when I get texts from people, I always text back saying, you're analyzing it too much. Just take it easy. Let it come with practice. Let it come with practice. What I'm trying to say there in a few words is, don't think your way into liberation. It's impossible. I've never come across anyone who do that. I've never come across any teaching that can tell you that. Jnana Marga is not thinking your way. This is Jnana Marga. Jnana Marga has to be in bhakti, has to reverentially, you have to feel the meaning of every single word. Feel it, feel it, feel it. Bring the bhava in those words. Understand the meaning and meditate on the meaning. Immerse yourself in the meaning. Then it begins to expose itself, reveal itself. The meaning reveals itself in silence. Allow that to happen. I cannot help you beyond a point. We are just sharing this path together. But there, the Guru, at the feet of the Guru, there is only silence. Which is why we offer at the end of every practice, every puja, every spiritual practice, the ancient Sanatana Dharma, the Vedanta is offer it. Don't say, I did it, just take it. I offer it. And sit in silence. All you have to do is offer and sit in silence. Because the teacher only teaches the highest wisdom in silence. That is the only way you can get it. In other words, shut your mind, silence your mind. It is only in the depths of silence that the voice of God can be heard. Let this be, write it somewhere on your wall or in your computer, near your computer, put a paper like this, a post-it note and stick it. It is only in the depths of silence. Put it on a yoga mat, if you will. If your mind is chattering too much, silence the mind. You might think sometimes that, oh my gosh, I'm not doing anything. I have to do sadhana. I must be doing something. I have to japam. I have to do some chanting. I have to do something. All of that you have to do, but you're doing it in order to silence the mind. Break the mind from its conditioned thinking. So you're silencing the mind. But if you only do these things and not practice silence, then you're not sitting at the feet of the Guru. At the feet of the Guru, it's in silence. And therefore meditation is considered Raja Yoga. So Raja Yoga is only meditation. But we have to be there, right? So we do Hatha Yoga to be able to sit longer, to cleanse the body, to cleanse the prana, to bring the energy in. Allow the nadis to flow, because the vehicle has to be in great stead for the experience to manifest itself. Maili chadar od ke kaise dwar tumhare aao, right? That is a song, very beautiful song. So it's how can I go with an unclean body? In other words, how can I sit at the feet of the Guru with my mind so full of all this? He did this, she did this. What do I do? How do I do this? Fear, anger, jealousy, hatred, all of that we entertain throughout the day, and then suddenly say, okay, let me sit at the feet of the Guru. No, it doesn't work like that. So, maili chadar od ke kaise dwar tumhare aao. How can I come to your altar with wearing this dirty clothes? In other words, this conditioned mind. I have to remove them and sit. And therefore, the Hatha Yoga, Japa Yoga, and all of that, bhajans, kirtans, satsangs like these, all of this helps in cleansing the mind. Right? That's why you and I feel nice at the end of a satsang. We feel happy we attended it. Our mind attains peace. Because it's a new kind of vision, a new kind of aha moments we get, which the senses cannot relate to. Something else is opening up inside, a deeper sense of joy and peace, right? Begin to nourish those, because that will lead you to silence. Gurostu mauna vyakhyanam. So when you meditate upon the Guru being silent, we also have to slowly allow that quality to become ours. In silence, the communication happens. Gurostu mauna vyakhyanam. So in that silence, what happens? Shishyastu chinna samshayaha. Shishyastu, of the students. Chinna, again, cheda and chinna. That was janana marana dukkha cheda. This is also chinna. Chinna bhin. So, isn't that a Hindi word? Chinna bhin? Oh, okay. Anyway, I don't know. It's like destroying bits and pieces. Okay. So chinna is just destroying what? All the doubts. Samshayaha. All the doubts are destroyed. How did he destroy? So you had so many questions. What happened to all those questions? It's all gone. Why? Because you just sat at the feet of the Guru. This, again, I mentioned this in some other context. Again, my dad was, he would do a lot of pujas. And for me, on those days, I would always look down on anybody doing puja. And I was thinking, what is this ritualistic thing and all of that? Now I've understood the symbolism, and I do it myself. Knowing the symbolism, it's even more powerful. Okay? But anyway, before Baba would call him and he would get a chance to speak to Baba, he would say, I've got a list. I'm going to ask him all these things. I've got so many questions about my puja. What should I do? And this and that. And then Baba would call us, my parents and I, and we would sit at his feet. And my dad would look at him, and that's it. His mouth will not open. His eyes will be full of tears, and he'll just be staring at Baba. He can't talk. And he would come out, and I would say, what happened to your list of questions? He said, I don't know. I couldn't speak to him. And of course, Baba would tell me, see, look at him. That is real bhakti and all that. The point there is, when you are actually in the presence, you don't need to ask. You suddenly realize, who am I going to ask? Oh my gosh. He knows everything. I'm sitting at the feet of omnipresence, omniscience, and omnipotence. What laundry list of my desires am I going to place that he is not aware of? So it is at the feet of such a divine Guru I am seated, in the depths of the banyan tree, in the root of the banyan tree. That is where I am sitting. Once I go there and I sit, all I have to do is enjoy being in that presence. Chinna samshaya, all the doubts are destroyed. Don't have to ask. The presence takes care of it. My dear brothers, there's this beautiful story of Sudama. I think I have time. Let me finish it. We all know the story of Sudama. I don't have to repeat it. Sudama and Krishna were very close friends. They were children. They studied in the ashram. They grew up. One remained to be a very poor Brahmin. One turned out to be the emperor. Krishna turned out to be the emperor. This Sudama, his very close friend, became and stayed a very poor Brahmin. So his wife would nag him every day. She said, you are poor, you and I are poor, we are struggling to eat. Go to Krishna, ask him something. He will give you a job in his court, or you're as learned as he is. You all studied together in the same Sandipani ashram. So why can't you go and ask him? And Sudama would say, no, he's my friend. I can't just go and ask him and ruin our friendship. No, I will not do that. But then, unable to stand her nagging, he goes. And he goes to meet Krishna. So she says, you told me Krishna likes poha. So she makes puffed rice. Okay, she makes a little bag of puffed rice, gives it to him and says, give it to him. So he says, oh, okay, I'll take it and give it to Krishna because he likes it. I know he likes it. Because he used to tell her all the stories of the ashram days. All right. So now he is outside the kingdom and he's trying to enter the palace, and the guards stop him. Because he's a poor Brahmin, nobody knows who he is, where he is from, and he's standing in front of this huge palace, Krishna and Rukmani's palace. So he tells, he says, can you please send word to Krishna that I am here. Who are you? I am his friend. What kind of friend? Childhood friend, we studied together. My name is Sudama. And seeing that palace and the grandeur of the place, he says, there's no way Krishna can even remember me. What am I even doing here? But he can't go back to his wife and again stand the nagging. At least he can go and tell her, I tried, right? So he says, okay, let me just try. So he's standing there almost assured that Krishna is not going to call him, but he gets called. And then the story goes that he meets Krishna and he sits and they talk about the old days and they enjoy that company so much. He completely forgets why he is come there. His wife has given him a list of what all to ask, get a job, ask this. They've forgotten. They're going back and just enjoying the company of that friendship. And Krishna notices poha and he says, oh, you got something for me, give me. And he eats that with great relish. And then, okay, see you later, bye. And that's it. The meeting ends. And Sudama walks out and he's returning back. And then he realizes, oh my gosh, I didn't even ask him. I didn't get a chance to ask him. I couldn't know how to ask him. But he's so happy and so blissful that he had this company and his friend didn't forget him. But he's coming back. Now he's coming back thinking, what do I do? And for those of you who know the story, he comes back and instead of his hut, he finds a palace. So did he ask Krishna? No. Did he even hint towards that? No. The story goes, he completely didn't talk about it. The very fact that he was in the presence of Krishna, Chinna Samshaya, all his doubts and fears and everything vanished. It's a beautiful story. So when we sit at the altar and invoke the divine Guru, don't drag him into our problems. We need to elevate to his level and enjoy that company. Just be there. Just be in that company. And come back. If the problems persist, if life is same dreadful life, then know that there is a gem hidden in that somewhere. There is a lesson hidden in that somewhere. A lesson that is going to take you into more beautiful dimensions. There is a lesson waiting. Otherwise, the Guru would have removed it. There is a reason why that particular circumstance prevails in your life. A particular person is there if you don't want him or her to be there. There is a particular reason why there is a health problem or a financial problem or a relationship problem or whatever it is. If it is not going in spite of all your efforts, there is a reason. Stay back. Look for the gem hidden in that. Look for the diamond in the attic. Know that the Guru has given it to us for a particular reason. And the moment you grasp that, your heart will be filled with gratitude, and in that gratitude, the whole situation will change. It will go away. Chinna samshaya, every doubt of yours will get cleared. But in that maun of vyakhyanam, you don't have to ask and you don't have to plead. Just trust the process. Trust the energy of the Supreme Guru. Gurostu mauna vyakhyanam shishyastu chinna samshayaha chitram vatataror mule vriddha shishya gurur yuva chitram vatataror mule vriddha shishya gurur yuva gurostu mauna vyakhyanam shishyastu chinna samshaya gurostu mauna vyakhyanam shishyastu chinna samshaya. What a beautiful third verse this was. So let us invoke the Supreme Guru and let us chant his name with no desires behind them, no conditions attached. Simply, unconditionally surrender our body, mind and spirit to this divine universal energy and enjoy, just bathe, immerse ourselves in chanting this divine name. Om Bhuh Purusham Shri Dakshinamoorthy Rupaya Shri Samba Sadashivam Avahayami. Om Bhuvah Purusham Shri Dakshinamoorthy Rupaya Shri Samba Sadashivam Avahayami. ॐ सुवः पुरुषं श्री दक्षिणामूर्तिरूपाय श्री सांब सदाशिवम् आवाहयामि। ॐ भूर्भुवः सुवः पुरुषं श्री दक्षिणामूर्तिरूपाय श्री सांब सदाशिवम् आवाहयामि। ॐ श्री गुरु परमगुरु परमेष्टि गुरु परात्पर गुरु महागुरु स्वरूपाय ॐ नमो भगवते दक्षिणामूर्तये मह्यं मेधां प्रज्ञां प्रयच्छ स्वाहा। श्री गुरु परमगुरु परमेष्टि गुरु परात्पर गुरु महागुरु स्वरूपाय ॐ नमो भगवते दक्षिणामूर्तये मह्यं मेधां प्रज्ञां प्रयच्छ स्वाहा। श्री गुरु परमगुरु परमेष्टि गुरु परात्पर गुरु महागुरु स्वरूपाय ॐ नमो भगवते दक्षिणामूर्तये मह्यं मेधां प्रज्ञां प्रयच्छ स्वाहा। श्री गुरु परमगुरु परमेष्टि गुरु परात्पर गुरु महागुरु स्वरूपाय ॐ नमो भगवते दक्षिणामूर्तये मह्यं मेधां प्रज्ञां प्रयच्छ स्वाहा। श्री गुरु परमगुरु परमेष्टि गुरु परात्पर गुरु महागुरु स्वरूपाय ॐ नमो भगवते दक्षिणामूर्तये मह्यं मेधां प्रज्ञां प्रयच्छ स्वाहा। श्री गुरु परमगुरु परमेष्टि गुरु परात्पर गुरु महागुरु स्वरूपाय ॐ नमो भगवते दक्षिणामूर्तये मह्यं मेधां प्रज्ञां प्रयच्छ स्वाहा। श्री गुरु परमगुरु परमेष्टि गुरु परात्पर गुरु महागुरु स्वरूपाय ॐ नमो भगवते दक्षिणामूर्तये मह्यं मेधां प्रज्ञां प्रयच्छ स्वाहा। श्री गुरु परमगुरु परमेष्टि गुरु परात्पर गुरु महागुरु स्वरूपाय ॐ नमो भगवते दक्षिणामूर्तये मह्यं मेधां प्रज्ञां प्रयच्छ स्वाहा। श्री गुरु परमगुरु परमेष्टिगुरु परात्परगुरु महागुरु स्वरूपाय ॐ नमो भगवते दक्षिणामूर्तये। मह्यं मेधां प्रज्ञां प्रयच्छ स्वाहा। श्री गुरु परमगुरु परमेष्टिगुरु परात्परगुरु महागुरु स्वरूपाय ॐ नमो भगवते दक्षिणामूर्तये। मह्यं मेधां प्रज्ञां प्रयच्छ स्वाहा। श्री गुरु परमगुरु परमेष्टिगुरु परात्परगुरु महागुरु स्वरूपाय ॐ नमो भगवते दक्षिणामूर्तये। मह्यं मेधां प्रज्ञां प्रयच्छ स्वाहा। ॐ सद्गुरुवे नमः। ॐ सद्गुरुवे नमः। ॐ सद्गुरुवे नमः। ॐ सद्गुरुवे नमः। सत्यं ज्ञानमनन्तं ब्रह्मा। 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 सत्यं ब्रह्मा ज्ञानं ब्रह्मा। सत्यं ब्रह्मा ज्ञानं ब्रह्म अनन्तं ब्रह्मा। अनन्तं ब्रह्मा। सत्यं ज्ञानमनन्तं 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 ब्रह्मा। सत्यं ब्रह्मा ज्ञानं ब्रह्मा अनन्तं ब्रह्मा। सत्यं ब्रह्मा। ॐ सद्गुरुवे नमः। 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 सत्यं ज्ञानमनन्तं ब्रह्मा। सत्यं ज्ञानमनन्तं ब्रह्मा। सत्यं ज्ञानमनन्तं ब्रह्मा। समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु। समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु। समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु। ॐ May all the beings in all the worlds be happy. Jai Bolo Pavan Putra Hanuman ki Jai. Siyavar Ramchandra ki Jai. Satguru Sai Nath Maharaj ki Jai. Namah Parvati Pataye Har Har Mahadev. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.